worldwide. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're tuned into Apparently This Happened, and I am your host, Caesar, aka Mr. Sneaker Route. And yeah, I appreciate one and all for locking in. Do me a super solid before we even proceed. Like, comment, and subscribe. Alright? Do me a super one, man. Come on, do me a solid. Alright? It'll help me get up in the algorithm, man, and it'll help me build my brand and do something, do something good for the world, right? Now, without any further ado, let's discuss DDG versus Halle Bailey. From what I'm understanding, I might be late to the party, but I'm still putting in my 2 cents, right? DDG files to stop Halle Bailey from leaving the country with son. Judge clears her to travel. All right. So if I understand correctly, they had gone to court, or he had filed a motion around about Wednesday. So that motion was to prevent her from leaving the country to go to Italy on vacation / work, whatever you want to call it, right? So let's see what took place, right? And he also had requested a restraining order. So let's see what happened with that. So on the 5th, they're stating that DDG's temporary restraining order request against Halle Bailey had been denied. Halle was free to leave the country with their child for business or personal reasons. But I think that is maybe a typo, or just information was not clear. The restraining order that he requested was granted, but him trying to block her from leaving the country and the emergency motion that he had to make her, to prevent her from leaving the country, that one was denied. All right. So let's see. So they stated that at 2:23 on the 5th of June, Halle Bailey has filed to deny DDG's request and instead grant her permission to take their son out of the country so she can work. Okay. All right. Halle is also requesting orders to stop DDG and his family and friends to stop posting about their son, this litigation, and Halle on all platforms. Halle also points out that DDG waited until today, which is June the 4th, to file a request to block her from traveling and to ask for new custody orders, when he and his attorneys have ignored all of her efforts for him to have monitored visits with their son since the issuance of the TRO on the 13th of May. Okay? DDG has filed an emergency motion to stop Halle Bailey from taking their infant son out of the country, claiming she poses an imminent emotional and psychological risk to the child. The rapper filed docs on Wednesday morning asking for an emergency hearing because he says that Halle has made plans to fly with his son Halo to Italy on Saturday, which I mentioned, and Saturday, just yesterday. All right. Now, DDG says that the courts shouldn't allow this because Halle isn't mentally healthy enough to take care of herself and their child, and he worries about what she might do if she leaves the court's jurisdiction. Okay? DDG provides examples of alleged conduct he thinks is troubling, claiming that Halle once took his gun and left the house without telling him where she was going. DDG also alleges that he ultimately found her outside just holding the weapon. He says she was pregnant at the time when the incident went down. He also alleges Halle once tried to have an abortion behind his back, but says she ultimately changed her mind and decided not to go through with it. Okay? And on another occasion, 2 months after Halo was born, DDG claims that Halle sent a series of alarming text messages threatening to kill herself and suggesting that their infant son Halo might also be harmed. And those text messages I'd actually put in the shorts. So if you're not familiar with the messages, definitely have a look at the shorts, and if you type in the title, it'll pop up very easy. Let's see. So as you know, Bailey earlier on had accused DDG of abusive behavior in the past, including once when she alleged that he slammed her face into the steering wheel and chipped her tooth. And yeah, so there's this photo here of her chipped tooth, and there was another photo of her in a side posture, and showing off her arms, and showing bruising on her arms and all that, right? And I'm specifying the bruising and all of that, for good reasons. So you'll see that up front, all right? Not up front in this video, but up front, all right? So DDG tells a different version of events, claiming he came to pick up his son Halo for custodial time, but Halle jumped into the back seat when he did, demanding they come up with a formal co-parenting schedule. Okay. DDG claims or alleges that she became increasingly agitated and started jumping from the back seat to hit him. and her momentum carried her forward and resulted in her smacking her head on the steering wheel, which he says is the reason this happened. Okay? Right, and he also, in fact, states that he was actually on the receiving end of the abuse from Halle, or by Halle, including photos of a large cut on his hand in the documents, which he says Bailey caused. And we're talking about this here specifically. All right. DG had asked the courts or the judge to block Halle from taking Halo to Italy. He also wants sole legal and physical custody of their son. If he's not granted sole custody, then he wants all custodial exchanges to be facilitated by a third party. And in case you don't know what that means, like, whenever people have issues with, parents not agreeing, they usually get the grandmas to do it, the nannies to do it, anybody outside of the parents dealing with it to avoid any further conflict. All right. Okay. So TMZ stating that they've reached out to Halle, and so far no word back. All right. I just wanted to say, it's highly unfortunate for a kid to be going through this, man, because the kid did not ask to be in this world, right? The kid is a blessing to everybody that they're around, but the kid did not, they themselves say, yeah, I want to be in this world, and then come into this chaos, right? At one point or another, these two people loved each other, they cared about each other, and they had a mutual understanding, and their understanding resulted in them having a baby, a beautiful kid, because Halo's a beautiful kid, right? My whole thing is, I think this could have been handled amicably, and I think there's a little bit of spite, because at the end of the day, you don't want this he's 17 months, right? You don't want this little kid forgetting his dad, because he hasn't seen his son in about 2 months at this point. A month, 2 months, right? And now his kid is leaving the country, and if his concerns are legitimate, it's concerning, because the judge still said, you can leave, you can go, right? Now, at the same time, if you really pay attention, her concerns about him abusing her are specifically about her. But countless times she's mentioned that he's a great dad, right? So if there's any type of conflict, it's between them, so they should be separated and kept from each other, right? It's to do with them. It's got nothing to do with the kid. There's no indication that he has ever hurt the kid. He's ever tried to hurt the kid or put the kid in any type of danger. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that if you're looking at it from a judge's standpoint, like let's take on the mindset of a judge, right? You have to be impartial, unbiased, and look at everything that is presented to you in front of you, right? Okay, cool. If he's stating that she has taken several different actions, or she's been doing different things that could put herself in jeopardy or put her kid in jeopardy, right? But there's nothing indicating him doing anything that will put his kid in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? She's taking a gun, which resulted in him, and I saw it somewhere, him sending her a text with a picture of their kid saying, hey, you want this little boy to grow up without his mom? Right? But there's no indication, there's nothing that I see where she clearly says, hey, he is a risk to the kid. The information that he's providing is about her mental state, about her and her actions and how they could affect the kid. Now, it might sound like I'm being biased. Bear in mind, I was raised by a woman. I grew up around girls my whole life, so I'm not trying to take sides per se, but I'm just looking at it from a bystander's point of view, a bystander's perspective. All right, so let's move on from that, right? My question to everybody is, if, let's say, hypothetically speaking, she embellished some details, or she told a bold-faced lie, right, with the accusations that she has presented, which are resulting in him not being able to be with his kid, right? What should be the ramifications for somebody doing that? Should she go to prison? Should she pay him a monetary, is it something monetary that she could pay him? Because you have to think about it. Accusations like this can damage a person's brand, because he's a walking brand, right? This could affect his money. the public's perception that the public has on him, and everything in between. So at the end of the day, if she is not being forthright and being honest about the true account of events or turn of events that took place on that fateful day, what should be the punishment? Should it be punitive? Or should she, like, serve time? Right? So I say that to say, it's very unfortunate, and I wanted to show you guys something, right? Because in the midst of all of this, right, you would expect someone like DDG to have their whole brand just fall apart. But instead, his brand is flourishing. If anything, his brand is just like accelerating and growing at an alarming rate. He's one of the biggest Twitch streamers. And on online, he's like, he's just breaking barriers, man, and just his growth is just crazy. He's growing exponentially, right? You'd expect him to be canceled. So we can't say a person cannot be canceled. It can't be that. So is it because the general public is looking at this from a different standpoint and saying to themselves, we don't know if this is really what happened. We don't, we don't really believe you. Because the public or the court of public opinion, the kangaroo court, right? Usually in a situation like this, man, the person's brand is tarnished. It's over with. They're in shambles, man. There's no bouncing back. And if you don't believe me, look at the history, man. There's only a handful of people who've ever been able to surpass the allegations of abuse ever. Usually they succumb, right? But I wanted to show you guys something really quickly, and this is not me picking sides, man. This is just sometimes you have to see what it is, because sometimes I'm feeling like she used the kid she has been using the kid as a bargaining chip, and she's so used to being in control, maybe in the relationships that she has been in, right? And she came across somebody who's willing to stand firm on their own volition and say, you know what, nah. I'm choosing to do this way, I'm going to move this way, and this is how it's going to go, and this is how I'm going to play it. Right? But I truly feel, to a degree, because I watch him, and I follow him, and I've seen him, and I've watched his growth, and you can kind of see the coercion and, the tactics that are being used to use a kid as a bargaining chip, or to use a kid to kind of control the temperature in their dynamic, right? Oh, if you got girls around, man, or if you got this going on, or if you seen that person, you can't see your kid. You can only see your kid under these circumstances and everything, but who's telling her how she can see the kid? You can't take photos, and you can't put the kid online and be on streaming and this and that, but when she's online and she's on, taking photos from magazines and this and that, nobody is saying you can't have the kid. Come on. But check this out. I want you guys to see something with me. Alright?
In a relationship, I think I have anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate. I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling, with my words, everything. I'm good at that, right?
She had even mentioned one time, right, that she was at an airport and she had to buy a teddy bear, man, because she missed the kid so much, and she cannot function and work without a kid. She has to have her kid always around her. So knowing that she was going to Italy and all that, did she do all this, man, because she was starting to go crazy, thinking, okay, I'm going to be gone for possibly 2 months, and I can't handle being away from my kid? Is that what took place? But watch this, man. Watch this. It's crazy.
Right? And if I gotta yell or check anyone, that's what I gotta do. That's just the way I be.
Clap back or sit back. I always have to choose clap back. I'm sorry. I'm a very kind person. But if somebody pokes at me or the people that I love, it's over for you. I'm an Aries. Sorry.
Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason.
Put it down.
I'm not even trying to, I'm just saying. At the end of the day, right? There's a saying that says the ones with the sweetest faces do the meanest things, bro. I'll say it again. The ones with the sweetest faces do the meanest things, bro. Do we wholeheartedly believe that this man did what he's being accused of? Or do we wholeheartedly believe she did the things that he's saying that she did? And also there's an incident that he did state where they were in Atlanta or something like that, and they had Halo in the car, and she started wailing on him, and in the evidence in the motion that he had filed, he provided a transcript because he said he actually had the incident on video, right? So I just want to know, and I'm not trying to be biased, I'm trying to look at it through the eyes of a judge, right? Who do we believe, man? Let's carry on.
I'm territorial. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. Where you go, who are you with? That's me.
And proof's in the pudding, because if you guys look at the documents, everything that she's saying over here is everything that is being said in the documents. When him and the girl had broken up and they had gone their separate ways, guess what? This girl had put air tags in every orifice of the car you could find. Every nook and cranny of the cars that he used, she had put air tags in them to know exactly where he's going and what he's doing. She popped up to a movie theater when he was out on a date. Do you know who had to de-escalate the situation? Because she said she's coming there to whoop his ass. His mom had to come through with George, right? Her fiance. To go over there and speak to her to de-escalate the situation. He's also claiming that on the day of the incident when she chipped her tooth, right? DDG is stating that he has video footage, and when she left the house, the way she described leaving the house, she was distraught, this and that. I don't think she realized she was on camera. Or maybe she did. I don't know. But he's saying that she was not distraught, and in retrospect, or in actual fact, his sister was the one who drove her home. Something is not adding up. It's either he's lying, because if he did what she's claiming he did, then he deserves everything that is coming to him. But the question is, and I'll keep on asking it, is that if a female accuses a man of abuse, and the man did not abuse her, right? Because really, let's keep it real. My better half, let's say my better half and I, we get into it, right? We get into it. She flies out the house, man. There's a bunch of people outside in the neighborhood, man. And she's like, he beat me. He put his hands on me, right? Automatically, they're going to believe her because she's a female. She's delicate. She's, we protect our ladies. That's what we do as a society, right? Or what we're supposed to do. But imagine me running out the house. Yo, she beat me. Oh, she's whooping me, right? A couple members of society and a couple members in the neighborhood will empathize and be like, damn. Man, damn, right? But for the most part, man, I don't think I would have the empathy of people like we would empathize with a female, accusing a man of the same thing. I'm just saying. So I say that to say, if a female accuses somebody of abuse and it didn't happen, or it's proven that it didn't happen, what should be the punishment?
Me.
I am nosy, number one. And number two, I like drama. I just don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So, I love my baby so much. I need him with me in order.
This is the part I'm talking about. Watch this.
to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So he's been out here with me majority of the time. But this week, and I go home on the weekends. But this week I had a lighter week, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I got here last night and I'm going home tomorrow. So I was like, let me try to test myself and see if I can be without him for a day and leave him, let him and his daddy have daddy and son time. And you guys, I miss him so much. But everybody knows Moo's the best daddy to him. But
so how does he go from being the best daddy, and then all of a sudden you guys smoke with him? And again, I said, if you guys had some form of scuffle, like, you know, you're trying to scratch his face off, he's restraining, whatever took place, because I wasn't there, you weren't there. But I'm just saying, why are you going to punish the man and say that the man can't see his kid? Because I can't even imagine not seeing my daughter or my sons, you know, for an extended period because somebody is telling me that I can't see them. Or a system is put in place stating that I can't see them. Like, I think I'll go crazy, bro. I think I'll lose my mind. Like, my heart breaks for the man. As a man to a man, like, my heart breaks for the man, bro. Can you imagine, for anybody who has kids out there, can you imagine somebody, whether you're male or female, can you imagine somebody or a system being put in place saying that you cannot see your kid? Man.
I miss him so much. Yesterday on the plane, I was crying, and I went to, you know, the little airport stores. I bought a teddy bear, and I was like clutching it to my chest. I bought a Build-A-Bear and a blanket, and I was clutching it to my chest. Literally on the plane last night, crying to not feel like miserable without him. I love him so much, guys. I don't know how this is possible. Anyway.
I'm just saying that it's just crazy to me, man. And at the end of the day, it's just wild, man. I hope for the best for both of them. I hope they can find healing, both of them. I hope they can just come to an amicable agreement and a mutual understanding, realizing that their actions are really eventually, if not already, affecting the kid. And I just hope they can just, like, you know, like, I hope she can get over whatever it is that she has a grudge against them for, and just say, you know what, it's not worth hurting the kid. And whatever he feels towards her, vice versa, man, it's not worth hurting the kid. Alright? I'm not going to yap away any further. I go by the name of Caesar. You tuned into Apparently This Happened. I appreciate one and all for locking in. Do me a super solid. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And with that being said, go and enjoy your day, man, because I will. I am. And I'm about to, man. Cheers and one.
Worldwide.